Well, guys, it's time for another movie vlog, which means only one thing. I found a movie that was so bad that I had to just talk about it. I'm not going to go through the trouble of editing this shit because it was just such a bad movie. I don't even want to spend so much time thinking about it. So after watching this terrible movie, I just want to talk about it for a couple minutes. Unscripted, unedited, uncensored, completely just screw this movie. I don't like it, and I'm going to talk about it. Last movie I think I did this for was Smiley, and I did a couple other movie vlogs of movies I didn't like. One was for Prometheus, and the other was for fucking Labyrinth or whatever. And those didn't get uploaded because of some uploading issue I had, and I just didn't want to do them again because I didn't want to think about the movies again. So the movie today is Mr. Hush. I found this movie in my DVD store for about $7. I was like, oh, well, it looks fun. It looks like it's going to be some generic horror movie. I mean, look at that name, Mr. Hush. How can you go wrong with crap like that? Um, and I didn't think much of it. Bought it, took it home. Went with my friend. We're like, hey, we like watching horror movies. Let's watch Mr. Hush. And it's about 80 minutes long, so we didn't expect much. This is a freaky horror romp, and I read the back right now. I'm going to quote it to you. A modernized rendition of classic horror. I am now a believer in Mr. Hush. That's crap. This movie was terrible. I don't care if it was cheap or it was made by some kind of indie production, because it obviously looks like that. It looks terrible. Like some indie company came in and made this piece of shit. The plot of Mr. Hush, there's barely any plot. There's terrible camera work. There's terrible characters. There is just no sense of direction whatsoever other than, oh, creepy. It's not even creepy. It tries to be funny. It tries to be scary. It tries to bring in these ideas. It doesn't set up for any. It fails epically on all terms. I was pissed off, just like in Silent Hill Revelations. That's another movie for another time, but for now we're going into Mr. Hush. Now, the whole plot of Mr. Hush is that on this October 31st, this Halloween, this guy had taken his daughter out trick-or-treating. He brought her home. That night, some fucking freako comes into the house dressed up as a priest, like, hello, I'm Father Flanagan. Can I come into your house and can do all this? Blah. And the guy's like, oh, sure, you're a priest. I totally trust you. You know, you told me all this. And I tell you this, the bullshit this guy spread to get into the guy's house, you should have known something was up with him. This is so unbelievable, but I will suspend my disbelief for this part. He lets him in. The guy immediately goes for the kitchen and puts a knife to the guy's wife's throat and just slits her throat down and kills her. And oh, by the way, I'm going to talk about the whole damn movie on this. I'm going to spoil the ass out of this because I don't care. And the guy's like, no, I should not have done that. Who cares? And the guy's like, now bring your daughter down. And the guy's like, oh, my daughter ran away. No, she didn't. I took her. He runs upstairs, the daughter's gone. His ass gets knocked down onto the floor. And then it cuts to 10 years later immediately where the guy looks like Dante after a beer run and about a million cupcakes. Seriously, they were going for a Dante look. He had the hair right just blocking his eye. It's long and gray. It's obviously fake. He had the scruffy face after a couple days, not shaven. They want to make it like, oh, this guy is living terribly because he lives in a tent. He works in bad shit, you know. And a lot of this movie, there's so much long, drawn-out dialogue scenes that have nothing to do with the horror, nothing to do with the characters. Just like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, it's bringing up the idea of this character. Oh, what are you talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. 15 minutes of there's like 5-6 minutes of nothing but that, and then we cut to 2 minutes of something else that is related to the horror of this movie that is not scary. That is all you're gonna see in this movie. It's terrible. The writing was terrible too. It was just, it didn't make any sense. It was convoluted. Now the best thing in this movie is the main villain. What is his name? Mr. Hush is Edward X. Young. That's who plays Mr. Hush. And by the way, they call him, he doesn't even call himself Mr. Hush. The guy just starts calling him that. He's like, what are you going to do about this, Mr. Hush? How does he know the guy's Mr. Hush? Who gives a damn? We're moving on. The best thing is his sidekick's played by Stephen Jeffries, who's a crazy guy. And I gotta give it to him that he does play a good psychopath. He does play a good weirdo, and in a better movie, he would have been the best thing about this. And he is the best thing about this, but he would have been better put to use. You could have thought about him more. But his character is thrown to the wind. Just be weird here and there, and then we're gonna kill you off later. That's right, he gets killed off. And I expected him to get killed off, but he got killed off in a bitch way. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Anyway, 10 years later, this guy starts going out with this chick who he's working with, and then he gets close to the family, and it skips over a couple of months, and then one Halloween night, this fucker comes in and slits the girlfriend's throat, and the guy's like, no, gets knocked out again. Same way, he runs upstairs, knocks out, and then he gets brought into this room where fucking Pat Flannery, I said Patrick Flannery, I don't mean Boondock Saints, I was thinking Boondock Saints at the time, but Flannery dude comes in, Father Flannery comes in, and he's all like, hello there. It's like, hello, Nosferatu. By the way, the guy's a fucking vampire, and they try to hide it in the beginning so bad. Like, when he comes in as a fake priest, he's like, well, call me old-fashioned, but I like to be invited before I come into a place. Like, okay, it's not too bad, but I'm thinking vampire. Seriously, I'm thinking vampire, because they even mentioned reference to vampire movie before he even showed up, so I was like, that's a little odd. But then they shows up at the door, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This movie was promoted as a slasher flick, by the way. It was promoted as a slasher flick, not a vampire movie, and it didn't do either way. It should have gone with one or the other. It tried to put both of them together. It fails horribly because it was too short, horrible writing, bad effects, bad makeup, and anyway, he takes a bottle of the girlfriend's blood, and he just like, oh, that was delicious, yes, and the guy's like, why are you keeping me here? He's like, I'm not going to tell you why I'm keeping you here for now. I'm going to tease you later. And then the guy goes upstairs. He has this psychic guy bring down some random chick, some hot, because she's hot, man. She looked really hot. But she's never mentioned again, except for she's on that table. And they're like, oh, I'm going to kill her. How are you going to kill her? Oh, obviously, he's a vampire. He's going to drink her blood. But he doesn't drink her blood like... He doesn't do that, okay? He takes like a vial, he sticks her with the needle, he pours it into a bowl, and he lets her bleed out. That's how he kills her, and the sidekick's there. Stephen Jeffries is funny a little bit, and how crazy weird he is. Like, that's her and all that. That's good. You know, that could have been good. I liked seeing that. And anyway, he leaves her on there. He's like, I want you to watch her bleed out. And the dude's like, why are you doing this? Oh, by the way, I must mention, every time the guy yells, the camera peaks. Like, they obviously use the mic on the camera, okay? You don't ever do that. Fucking idiots. The audio peaks so many times, and I'm just like, that is so unprofessional, and it just breaks me away from the movie. It takes me out of it. I'm gonna comb my hair a little bit. It takes me out of the movie, and I don't know what they were thinking. They obviously they should have been able to afford something. This is a movie. You need to think it through. Comes back down, starts talking to him, starts saying, I'm gonna torture you and all that, and they have this weird fucking dream sequence with the main character. He's like, he sees his mother, starts talking to her, starts mentioning her grandfather. It's like, okay, obviously the grandfather is somehow connected to Nosferatu. What the hell are they going to talk about? And they don't really tell you anything. They don't tell you that he was like Van Helsing going after to kill him or anything. It's a much more disappointing ending when you find out why the vampire is really doing what he's doing because of the grandfather. It's terribly stupid. Now, the way they explain it is that somehow the girl gets free, and then she unties him. Now, when they're in this room downstairs... When they're in the room downstairs and there's all these weapons they could take to go upstairs to escape, they could go upstairs to escape. They're like, oh, okay, we got this chainsaw, we got this axe, we got these knives, and screwdriver. You know what they take? They take a kitchen knife. They take the kitchen knife that the guy used to slit his wife through, and it's like, oh, that's really stupid. Chainsaw. That would have been better. But no, he goes up with the fucking kitchen knife, and then he kills Stephen Jeffries. And then he goes searching around the room. I don't know why he wouldn't have run away, but the hot chick runs away. The hot chick who's the daughter of the girl the guy was dating, and she runs away. And by the way, they live like probably a mile from the police station. You tell me nobody saw this? Stupid. She runs to the police station. She's like, "Police, help!" And this guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna whip out my gun. I'm gonna help this with this." He runs all the way over to the thing, and he gets there in the end. By the way, way late in the game, and it just fails epically at what he does because he runs away like a bitch in the end. Anyway, the main character goes into the house. He's still running around the house. He goes upstairs, and he's searching around for Nosferatu guy because he's going to hit him with a bat. Because obviously hitting a vampire with a bat's going to kill him. Of course, we still don't know he's a vampire, do we? It's fucking obvious he's a vampire. Please. He goes in, and he sees his daughter, who is like 18 years old. Okay, now, one thing about his daughter. A couple things. One, why the fuck did this guy keep the daughter alive? Two, why did she not remember? Because she doesn't remember him at all. I assume she would have some kind of facial memory because he looks just the same except he has Dante hair. Old Dante hair, not new Dante hair. He looks about the same, but somehow she doesn't remember him for like the entire thing. Doesn't say she got her memory back or anything, but somehow she helps him in the end. Anyway, Caesar, and she looks 18. Now, in the beginning of the movie, she looked about 5 or 6. Now you're telling me 12 years passed, even though it says 10 years passed? You motherfucking movie. You don't even know what you're doing. Anyway, he takes her downstairs, runs down, Nosferatu comes down, and there's this like 10, 15, 20-second scene where he's like got the bat and he's ready to hit Nosferatu uses in the stairs like, what are you doing? Hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him. You don't hit him, you fucking idiot. You wait till the guy turns around, and then he starts wailing him with the bat one time, and the bat breaks. Stab him. No, doesn't do that. He gets knocked over to the side, and the guy finally explains why he's hunting the guy's specific family. He's like, okay, what's he gonna do? Was his father like Van Helsing or something? And it wasn't his father was Van Helsing. It was that, his father was driving the car, and during a car accident, he ran into a fence, and a plank of wood flew into the sky and stabbed his wife. That's the explanation they give to us. You half-ass, stupid-ass motherfucker. This movie said it was good. Stupid! It's a terrible movie. And then he, like, turns into the stupidest-looking vampire with the biggest God, teacher, shit talking like this shit, or so the truth. He even drools with it because he can't control saliva with it. Just like, I'm gonna get you, I gotta get you. And his face is painted gray. Obviously, it's painted terribly gray. And his hair is all spiked up like Goku from fucking the Dragon Ball shit, Dragon Ball Evolution, the shit one. His hair is all spiked up and grayed out, and his skin is all grayed out, and then he's about to kill the guy when the daughter comes out of nowhere and stabs him horribly, by the way, because it looks like this. He goes like, and walks off screen. She's stupid. That was so bad. And the cop runs in at the last minute, sees this, and he's like, I'm out! Just runs away like an idiot. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And then Nosferatu gets away. He just walks off screen, too. It's not like he's like, oh, I'm dead. No, he walks off into the back set. Stupid. And so, skip ahead like maybe a year. The family, the guy with his daughter, who he found, who's like obviously 20 now, and the girlfriend's the girlfriend's daughter, he has them both, and they're in the same house, and they're all living together, all fine, happy and cheery and all that. And then the guy's best friend, who apparently I guess lives there now, for whatever the fuck reason, hears a ring at the door. He's like, oh, I'll get it, and they're like, no. And that's the end of the movie. So what did I think of this movie? I think it's terrible. It was edited horribly, it was shot horribly, the audio sucked balls, the story was god awful, the acting for one thing wasn't good. This movie fails epically. If you have a chance to see this movie, do not ever see this movie. It is garbage, and that is what I think of this movie. Thank you for watching my movie vlog of fucking Mr. Hush, and I will see you guys in the next movie vlog, whatever I want to do, first impressions, movie review, anime review. I will see you guys later. I am done with this crap.